Okay. Preparing for that new death battle video. Okay. A little preamble before the video actually starts. I'll be explaining who I actually think wins this before any rundown of this happens. Right now, from the research I did, I would say I'm leaning towards Kyle. I've seen the stats for both. I've seen how everything plays with each other and hacks and abilities, and just from what I've seen, Kyle just scales way higher to the point where I don't know if Simone could make that much of a jump in power to match him. Of course, that's under the thought that DC's cosmology is just way higher, and the fact that he can affect it onto that level. That's why he wins. But knowing the way that Death Battle does and scales in general, they'll probably try and make it as close as possible. So they'll try and keep the spatial dimensions around the same level. They'll try to do all that stuff. From the sneak peeks of both of their rundowns, though, they already gave Kyle 12, like 12.3 dimensions, but it's also going to be compared to 11th dimensional stuff for Simone. And I could see an argument, if that's where they're going to place him, that Simone can, if given enough time, can catch up and surpass that. And in a fight like this, also depends on if Simone is starting out that powerful, or if he's going to gain enough power throughout that to reach that point. That's the whole. And if Kyle ends up killing him beforehand, that's a side I can take on. But given the fact that in like Goku versus Superman 3, I believe in one of the black boxes they have a claim that DC does in fact have infinite spatial dimensions and temporal dimensions within. So they could use that and possibly, well, not possibly, easily get Kyle to the point where no matter how long it takes for, no matter how much time he gives Simone, it won't reach the point of matching his power at all. So that's one side of the argument. What the one I personally believe is that they're just going to give Kyle the overall stat advantage to the point where Simone's resistances to like emotional manipulation, stuff like that, won't matter much if he can't catch up in power. Of course, I've heard like outer versal arguments for Simone that could possibly put him on the same level as outer versal Kyle, but the problem with that is Simone's arguments for outer are very iffy. It's using the reality over fiction method of getting to outer, which whenever that was first proposed for like versus battle wiki or character stats and wikis and stuff like that, I kind of had a little bit of pushback on that. Why Why does being reality over fiction grant somebody universal? I don't see that. If anything, that's another spatial dimension. But people are granting him universal with that, so I guess I don't like that. No. 20-dimensional during the Gone is also possible, but yeah, that's still probably not enough to beat Kyle. A lot of the higher tier arguments for Simone I do not agree with, and don't really think it can match what Kyle can do. Like, there's also, yeah, like I said earlier, Death Battle has a tendency to try and make the characters sound as close as possible, and sometimes that gets to the point of actually doing something to the result. The only times they don't do that is whenever someone with better hacks can beat out that better stats, like in Spawn versus Ghost Rider. So I am a little iffy on that. As I will be watching the video when it goes live, I will be pausing every now and then to read any black boxes or anything like that, so there's that. Or if I can read it fast enough, I won't pause, but most likely I'll be pausing for that. Some extra preamble. When it comes to Gurren Lagann, it is in my top 3 anime. It is up there. I love Gurren Lagann. Yeah. It's the way I see it.
This new one's better than Will of the Drill, but I am saying Will of
I
the
mean,
Drill is iconic.
I'll always take something
It's
better.
Video.
I'll always take something better. But yeah, like, I mean, if they want to make something better,
Ooh,
it is pretty goated. But before we go any further,
Lumos
guys, yo, real quick, welcome to the stream.
Streaming it too.
Everyone, just so you know.
My Australianisms.
Also, thanks for tuning in despite how late it is over there in the great country.
It's okay. I'm upside down. I understand.
Today we got quite the pantheon of people. We got Jobber Godot rolling around with us, man. Yo, say what's up. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. How about it? Jobber, you go first, man.
Earlier, or later.
What's up, everybody? It's your lawyer, Jobber Godot. Checking out nice Lumos to be here. I'm also streaming as well at the same time as Lumos. It's gonna be the stream. No full time. Yeah, that's all for me though. I'm chilling.
Oh yeah, who wants to go next, man? How about it?
But yeah, this is definitely gonna be.
Yeah, go for it, Pursuit. What you got, huh?
I'll watch Lumos's reaction later.
Like
I'm done.
Yep.
My own stream.
He's gonna be super hardcore.
I gotta turn this down a tad bit, but yo, we are here for the memes either way.
Okay. Anyways, back to my own preamble. Gurren Lagann, top 3 anime for me. I recommend it to pretty much anybody that wants to check it out. Or, of course, anybody wants to check it out. Anyone that wants to check it out, yeah, they're gonna check it out. But still, I recommend it immensely. It is something I very much do.
Little faith as I possibly could have in what's going on right now.
Oh my gosh.
Hands clasped above my head. Liam, please.
But yeah, I remember the first time I watched Gurren Lagann, and it was one of the greatest I've seen.
Really my trust.
Yo, don't forget this is a super chat stream, homies. Post your comments down low, but if you actually want them answered by me and the crew here, make sure it's a super chat, and we'll take care of you on that action.
Yo, sup Gold Medal Cooler and sup the Blue. Nice seeing y'all here. Rolling up.
I got Nuzlite chilling in the chat too, man, as well as Rockin' Alice. I got all the goats chilling over here. Yeah, this is gonna be a banger day, man. This is gonna be a banger video. At least I hope so.
Come on, 6
and even if it's not,
dog.
I know this will be a banger stream with the crew we got today.
Yep, this is gonna be something.
I'm hoping extremely entertaining time.
I'm just really excited for this animation, dude. The animations in these videos are always really good, but more so than that, it's a 2D animation, and I'm always a big fan of their 2D animations, so
yep.
Always big W in that department.
Yeah, this stream's gonna be nothing but good old W's. It's gonna be awesome.
So, Jobber said something before we wound up going live that he thinks that, actually, I'll just let you rephrase it, yo. Who you think's taking it, and then who do you think they're gonna have win?
So, like...
We'll just do a round table on that action.
I just hope the next
time
after this...
So for me, personally, on this Death Battle rep, I am 100% rooting for Kyle. 100%. Whom I'm betting on winning, I personally don't think Simon wins, but I think he will win this Death Battle. I'm going into this thinking Simon's just gonna absolutely wreck Kyle. He's just gonna drill through the source wall and said, "You're a fucking loser," and then just drill a hole through Kyle's head, something. That's probably gonna happen.
Yeah,
that's my take right now. So.
I'm personally rooting and betting Kyle all the way.
All the way.
My profile picture and character is based off of the anti-spiral, but I have never watched Gurren Lagann.
5 more.
I know it's good.
I just dig the imagery, man.
I love the imagery of the anti-spiral.
Speaking of
Gurren Lagann,
I have not
it's pretty cool.
listened to
solid
those audio
design.
dramas for it yet.
Yeah.
That's something I need to do.
Perfect. I'm really hoping Kyle pulls out the win here.
I think there's also a manga that I haven't read, but
yeah, I'm feeling unfortunately similar. I think Kyle should mega stomp this bad boy just via how he accessed and tampered with cosmology and the obscene hacks that he has. But yeah, if I don't necessarily know the connection between the G1 blog and the actual decisions made at Death Battle.
There's no connection. They're separate.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, but if it's anything similar,
people.
If it's anything similar to their conclusions, then this is a
at the
lost
same time,
cause.
I will be,
okay, this is
if
Gonzo.
they don't buy Simon's existence erasure, then it should be
trying to think of what could be the next time.
But if they do buy Simon's existence erasure,
for next times I would
go. Say that he's able to get that off before Kyle's able to
Kuro
get
Sensei versus Monokuma,
which is pretty much what
that's pretty up
the
there.
blog said.
I kind of want that.
But I think that's pretty similar to how I'd assume Death Battle
maybe
would take it. Unless they think
another street tier, like I said earlier, but
pull off his win cons faster.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure for
maybe another fighting game matchup. God.
I'm mainly just kind of going off of what
I would love
Superman in his
another fighting game Death Battle,
where they kind of gave him
give me
Time Trapper
Soul
stuff,
Calibur, give
so,
me Tekken, give me.
He should be able to kind of scale to stuff of being able to survive existence erasure and stuff like that. So, I mean, already I think they gave Kilowog stuff, so I think they should be fine for.
Yeah, they do the same thing they did with like Hal, where they said like, yo, Kilowatt could survive like the Crisis on Infinite Earths with his ring, as well as like a few other Green Lanterns, and Hal's considered the greatest of all time and the superior to all of them, especially later on. Like they just grant that scaling towards him. Yeah, they tend to do that a lot at Death Battle, and not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's weird to me that we would do that in all those situations, but in this, it does not.
So, yeah.
Like, dude, this guy manipulates the source, bro. It's kind of crazy. Like, why would we do that in all those instances and not this one? But let's not question that.
2 more minutes. It's gonna start.
Some interesting memes there. You know, also see some people in the chat. Someone says Spiral. Kyle is probably stronger, but Simone is so much cooler. Okay, all right. Well, I guess that's.
You can argue that. Okay. Like, I think that's a solid argument. Like, no one's arguing which character is cooler here, because like anybody can argue who's cooler, right? And we can all have like solid opinions on that, but those are just like more
Kyle
opinions
wins.
than anything else.
Who I think Death Battle will choose to win. I think they're gonna go towards the Simone route because of how they oftentimes keep the scaling as close to each other as possible.
I've got mixed feelings about the G1 since their Bowser versus Eggman blog. That's fair. So John says, I want Simon to win, but I want the combatants to... I want the Mexican combatants to at least get one win. Okay. Space says...
Have we had many Mexican fighters?
I'm moving more towards Kyle winning. But I would not be mad if Simone won. I'm just overall excited for this. Oh boy, it's about to start. I gotta get prepared for this. If anybody's in chat right now, you guys have any ideas on who wins or not?
We have apprehended a dangerous experiment.
He escaped.
Tickets available now.
You sure that's a dog?
Yeah.
Rough. Agent Cobra Bubbles.
Okay. Full screen, baby. Got prepared for this shit. Should I keep it full screen or partial screen? So we can get the chat's reaction to it right now. Yeah, I'll leave the chat up. That seems like a good thing to do. Like a thing right here. But yeah. Some for people that are planning on watching this in any time in the future, I will be pausing on any black boxes that they get read. And before the fight starts, I will give my direct prediction on who I think wins based on the results they give off. That's the plan. Ooh, baby. 39. 28. Well, I say 39. But yeah. 25 seconds, guys. 25 seconds. Locking in time.
Simone the Digger.
Kyle Rayner, the White Lantern.
Two men born of Earth with the willpower to pierce the heavens and conquer infinity.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Deep underground, Jiha Village lived in dreary isolation, oblivious to the wider world above their squalid cave.
That's where the hero of our story comes in. The young man who would lead his comrades into the sunlight at last. Kamina, the great and mighty. And his little brother from another mother, Simone. He was there too, I guess.
Simone was a digger, content to drill endlessly through the dirt, until the day he found the core drill.
A key that activated the mysterious buried mech that Kamina named Lagan. Under his magnificently masculine leadership, Kamina finally drilled their way to freedom, seeing the sun after a life in the dark.
But the sky was by no means the limit. The surface was ruled by the cruel chimeric beastmen, and Kamina would lead his compatriots against them to reclaim the Earth for humanity, scoring a second mech in the process, aptly named Gurren.
And as befits Kamina and Simone's unbreakable brotherly bond, Gurren and Lagan merged, creating Gurren Lagan!
With Kamina piloting the body and Simone the head, these two were unstoppable.
Of all the giant fighting robots in all the animes across history, Gurren Lagan might just be the absolute coolest, fueled by its pilot's willpower and capable of making any weapon they can imagine.
Including missiles, a jetpack, a sunglasses boomerang, and of course,
drills! Wrist-mounted drills, kunai drills, shield drills, kamehameha drills, and everyone's favorite, the Giga Drill Bureku! Side note, it is so funny that the only thing they could think of was drills. That's like if I made booze or something, my whole personality. What up?
With Gurren Lagan's awesome power, Kamina laid waste to enemy forces, liberated human villages, and fomented a rebellion against the Beastmen King, Lord Genome.
Until Kamina died. Oh, wait, shit, was that supposed to happen?
Nope, and it was all Simone's fault. He let his willpower waver, and his soul brother paid the price. After all, he was just a humble digger, at home in the darkness, guided solely by the light of Kamina's spirit.
So his big bro left him with these final words. Have faith in the Simone who believes in you. Damn.
Kamina was the one looking up to him the whole time. It was Simone who found Lagan, Simone who pierced the surface, and Simone who would now lead humanity to victory.
Especially with his gal pal Nia at his side, who helped pull him out of his rut and kick Lord Genome's ass. But victory only lasted 7 years before the Anti-Spiral attacked.
Unimaginably powerful godlike aliens, the Anti-Spiral feared humanity's potential, what they dubbed the Spiral Nemesis.
Remember how Gurren Lagann runs on fighting spirit? Turns out that's just a manifestation of spiral power, an energy that all spiral beings, like humans, have. That's right, the laws of physics run on chutzpah.
Just as the spiral turned inward represents endless obsession and madness, the spiral turned outward spins forever into infinity, the perfect representation.
Yeah, I had a class in college for sci-fi stories, and I did mine on Gurren Lagann and had like a whole paper on how spiral energy works. I know this shit.
Of humanity's evolutionary potential.
Potential Simone would use as he led Team Dai Gurren across the multiverse to take the fight to the anti-spiral. And this is when Gurren Lagann gets crazy.
Channeling spiral power lets you constantly adapt to threats, no matter how overwhelming. Simone can create portals to different realities and higher dimensions. He can generate force fields, absorb energy attacks, and even merge Gurren Lagann with bigger and stronger machines.
Creating the Arc Gurren Lagann, which is strong enough to shatter space and time with a punch.
Or the Super Galaxy Gurren Lagann, which can fire lasers that are fast enough to hit, and I quote, all time, space, and dimensions, all within a Planck instant.
That's the smallest unit of time physically possible.
Meaning each laser would have to be moving 4.6 times 10 to the 117th power times faster than light. Oh,
largest number
looks
in
like
Death
this
Battle.
wins the award for fastest calculated speed feat in our show's history. Congratulations, Gurren Lagann.
Move over, SpongeBob. You've been dethroned. Oh, and the guidebook says they hit an innumerable number of enemies across infinite universes. You literally cannot calculate how fast that is.
But it wasn't enough to escape the Anti-Spiral's greatest trap, the Multiverse Labyrinth, an attack that imprisons Simon in his own unique multiverse, forced to experience an infinite number of alternate realities that controlled his mind, permanently arresting him in a dream world.
Except Simon and his spiral power are just built different, and after being inspired by his bro, Simon absorbed that whole multiverse to escape.
What makes this even more impressive is that
In the
this
CD drama. Yep, 20D space. There it is. There it is.
labyrinth was 11-dimensional, meaning
20D,
Simon
yep.
absorbed a higher dimensional structure several orders of infinity greater than
nothing with
himself. The jump
reality
between
over fiction.
dimensions is basically infinite. Each new dimension
finally-
adds a new direction of space that extends.
Guys, they're actually explaining dimensional tiering. I've been waiting for this moment. Yes, finally!
Infinitely, thus an infinite gap in size and scope.
What?
Oh, we're just getting started. Imagine a two-dimensional drawing interacting with a three-dimensional person.
Okay.
They're
That's
using the
not
way
too
I'd
far
describe
off from what actually
Reality
happened.
over
Because
fiction
when
is being a
Simon absorbed the
dimensional tier
multiverse
higher. Oh my
labyrinth,
god.
he merged with every alternate universe version of himself, including an alternate universe Simon who is writing his own alternate universe version of Gurren Lagann. And that author's spiral power made his fictional Simon real, adding another to the mix.
Wait, if
Yep.
every human being has
21
spiral power,
21 dimensional, so
you're
they actually
telling me
did
we
it
can all
dimension,
do
not
this shit?
algorithm.
This all gave our Simone enough spiral
Yes!
power to form the next
That's the way I
step
do
in mecha evolution, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann.
This is when Gurren Lagann
Tengen
gets
Toppa.
actually fucking crazy.
Gurren Lagann.
Like shooting missiles that alter probability so they have a 100% chance of hitting you, or tossing galaxies around like frisbees.
Brain theory and higher dimensional concepts that are consistent with author statements concerning these galaxies are in fact.
Sorry, did I
universes.
say galaxies? I meant universes.
Simon's
I might
power
as well
was
close
so
the chat
immense that he
because
started
I'm
generating
behind I am,
super
so-
spiral space, a higher dimension encompassing our own universe.
With it, Simon turns
Despite
his
the higher
thoughts
dimensional
into
nature,
reality,
he confirms these constructs, including Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, could manifest in the three-dimensional
letting him
real
create his mech and all of its weapons in the first place.
Not only does this mean he no longer needs co-pilots, he can also regenerate any damage done to him or his mech
Yep, that was
just
the
by
main
willing
thing
it
with
back
the-
into existence.
Like when Lord Genome used spiral power to survive quantum breakdown, or the time Nia, now the best.
Never used to directly shown to be strongest spiral power user as such. He's capable of the same feats and abilities as his
wife in the universe used spiral power to constantly regenerate her body from being erased at the informational level for 7 days straight.
Information in physics is essentially the ones and zeros that make up every possible outcome in reality. Nia literally regenerated from the statistical certainty of her own destruction.
If I have spiral power, whiz, when the fuck is my leg growing back?
When even this was not enough for the anti-spiral, Simon evolved one more time.
Into Super Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann!
This mech is so big, its size is literally incalculable. And with a drill somehow even larger than that, Simon and his friends shattered the anti-spiral once and for all.
Hey,
Fucking
cruel
finally,
indifference
yes.
of the universe! Meet the indomitable human spirit!
Proving Kamina's words prophetic, that Simon's drill is the drill that would pierce the heavens.
With no more worlds left to conquer, Simon chose to wander the earth for the rest of his days, in service to others.
Always looking up, for all the lights in the sky are stars, and every star another world of spiral cousins that can live free.
All thanks to a humble digger.
Oh, yes. Okay, the time for Kyle.
The universe is a dangerous place. Should you find yourself face to face with an interdimensional vampire, alien dictators, or this one really pissed off cat, you know who to call.
The Green Lantern Corps. They're the Space Fuzz, an intergalactic police force founded billions of years ago by blue leprechaun gods.
And the greatest Green Lantern among them was everyone's favorite, Hal Jordan.
You know him. You love him. You might hate him, but you gotta.
That Beto was fucking right, guys. I'll fight anybody on that. How shitstomp's been.
Respect the man with a will as unbreakable as Hal's.
Until the day his will broke.
After his hometown got completely obliterated, Hal lost his mind. He rampaged through the Corps, killing everyone in his path, and absorbed the central power battery, the literal Green Lantern,
becoming the Emerald Tyrant, Parallax.
There was only one survivor of Parallax's killing spree, Ganthet. And with what remained of his strength, he gave the last Green Lantern ring in the universe to a human, Kyle Rayner.
So, was Kyle picked for his indomitable willpower like Hal was?
He was just there. He had no idea what was going on. Must feel good being given the most dangerous magical weapon in existence to figure out on your own. Hey, if Colonel Sanders, Daffy Duck, Space Wheat, and a sentient box can master it, what's your excuse, Kyle?
The Green Lantern ring can do anything, fulfilling any wish its user desires as though it were a genie from a lamp.
It lets you fire energy blasts, create force fields, affect gravity, turn invisible and intangible, manipulate matter, time travel, warp reality, and erase things from existence.
Think we're exaggerating? Well, consider the time Kyle stretched the very fabric of space to increase the Planck length a billion times over. That's like stretching an inch into a light year.
Lanterns control time and space, letting them fly so fast they can create a Speed Force singularity.
Tapping into the Speed Force requires entering a higher dimension of space, requiring speeds that are not only faster than light, but totally immeasurable. And the rings have an artificial intelligence that operates just as fast, automatically protecting its user from danger.
Like the time that Poozer Kilowog.
The Green Lantern chip stated his ring protected him from the effects of the crisis on Infinite Earths by Dr. Ubex. Also survived the crisis by using the sucker stick in analog for the
survived being erased from existence by the crisis on Infinite Earths.
The ring is fueled by its user's willpower and limited only by their imagination.
While Hal may have had the greatest willpower in the Corps, Kyle's imagination is unmatched, probably because he's a comic book artist. And we know from this show, they think of some wild shit.
But the Green Lantern's most recognizable ability is their constructs, Kyle's speciality.
Samurai armor, pirate ships, giant dragons, actual working home computers, and his favorite, super fighting robots. Hey, that one looks familiar.
Kyle can make them strong enough to lift the Spectre, who weighs as much as eternity.
Or hold back a 12.3 dimensional Big Bang. Wait, 0.3? DC's multiverse has 12.3 dimensions? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The ring's only downside is that
after Ray's power of Ion, Kyle modified his Green Lantern ring to have emergency reserves and backup power. If it will never fully run out, even if it cannot.
It's limited to 24 hours before needing a recharge.
So it can blow up universes, but it has the battery of an iPhone. Never mind, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Although I'd say Kyle's biggest weakness was Kyle. With great power came no responsibility.
Perhaps a manifestation of Kyle's self-doubt. Any reflection came too late, though, when one of Kyle's villains brutally murdered his girlfriend, Alex, and put her body in a fridge.
Kyle wasn't the only one traumatized. This moment was so infamous, it started the trope called fridging.
For how female characters are often sacrificed as mere plot devices to further a male character's development.
So it might surprise you that it happened to Kyle again.
Kyle finally got serious. He became a prominent member of the Justice League, faced off against Hal, and even rebuilt the Green Lantern Corps better than ever.
But little did he know, this torchbearer's greatest journey had only just begun.
In order to save Ganthet from an emotional lobotomy, it's a long story, he had to master all the colors of the emotional electromagnetic spectrum.
There are 7 colors, each representing a different emotion. The yellow light of fear lets Kyle manipulate the worst horrors in your mind. the more scared you are of him, the stronger he becomes.
Orange light is fueled by bottomless avarice, possessing Kyle to absorb not merely his enemies' attacks, but also their souls.
Red is rage, ripping out Kyle's heart and replacing his blood with napalm, which sounds like it sucks, but it's metal as hell.
Blue light is powered by hope and allows Kyle to heal wounds, resist mental domination, and supercharge his ring.
Indigo is compassion, reducing his opponent's will to fight and letting him open portals across space, connecting him to others.
The final one was the sapphire light of love. With it, he can trap enemies within crystal matrices and control their minds, but Kyle only mastered it by forgiving himself for Alex's tragic death.
Oh, self-love. I get it. Must be nice. And with their powers combined, he doesn't just make his enemies taste the rainbow.
The lights of the spectrum merged, and Kyle became a White Lantern, with total control over the power of life.
Wiz, I cannot think of an attack more useless in a death battle than something that makes you live.
Empowered by the physical embodiment of all life in the DC multiverse, Kyle is vastly more powerful than any other Lantern in existence.
Far stronger than Hal, who could harness the energy of every power battery across the multiverse.
Not only can
even a single central battery power contains enough power to create and destroy an entire universe, meaning how manipulated multiverse.
Kyle instantly heal all wounds, purify corruption, and resurrect the dead, the white light of life is strong enough to go up against threats to all of creation.
His own against Parallax, has a Green Lantern, and Parallax fought Time Tractor, Spectre, this use the White Lantern as being equal to superior to
like the Anti-Monitor.
Okay, so it's not totally useless.
Especially after Kyle visited the Source and acquired the Life Equation. Essentially the source code to reality, the Life Equation is mathematical proof that life is worth living.
With it, Kyle can alter all of reality at a whim, even threatening the new gods like Darkseid.
The Life Equation, like its counterpart, the Anti-Life Equation, is a conceptual artifact from a higher reality, originating in a platonic realm that is, in a sense, more real than we are.
So it's not a shock that the equation made Kyle too powerful.
He struggled to control it, and it subconsciously manifested a being composed of his fears and anxieties. Oblivion. Kyle's greatest weakness was still himself.
Kyle spent his whole life struggling with the power that the gods granted him, and throughout it all, he always rose to the occasion, carrying the universe on his back.
But ultimately, the only way to stop power from corrupting is to spread it. So Kyle split the Life Equation into pieces to found his second core, the White Lanterns. And together, they shattered Oblivion, destroying the self-doubt that plagued Kyle once and for all.
Not bad for a comic book geek from LA.
And now he was the one giving out rings of unlimited power to people who weren't sure if they could command it.
So he told them the truth. You can't teach someone how to use such power. You have to learn yourself, making mistakes along the way.
But with the power of life at their command, there's no end to their journey, only endless beginnings. Hey, remember Beerus vs. Sailor Galaxia? No? Well, that's because it was taken off YouTube for being... It's got episodes that YouTube live. All right.
Okay. From what I've seen from both, what they put on the screen, they didn't really give anything higher than 20 dimensions to Kyle. They didn't tell that in any black boxes I saw. So they may try and argue that Simone is overall more powerful and can reach more powerful heights than Kyle. So right now, I'm thinking they're going to have Simone win. I still personally think Kyle wins, but let's see.
The combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
Alright, I'm not rusty at all.
Hey dude, Green Lantern Officer Kyle Rayner here. Brink says you've got a Class A galactic super weapon, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's the giant mech. Why don't you hand it over?
Gurren Lagann's mine, officer. Just who the hell do you think you are? I'm bad with authority.
Tell me about it. 4!
4? That's nothing! My drill will pierce the heavens! Take it, Topa, Gurren Lagann! That's really cool.
I'm a lantern. We do the impossible.
See the invisible.
Touch the untouchable.
Break the unbreakable.
If you ain't know,
now you know. I'm Simone the Digger. If there's a wall in my way, I'll smash it down.
stop fighting. Think about your fear of death, your love of your friends, your compassion for me, your hope for the future. Choose life.
Have faith in the Simone that believes in you.
Super Tekken Topa Gurren Lagann! My drill is the drill that will transcend the heavens! Giga Drill Break!
White Ranger Zero! Come on, come on. The Infinity, yes.
The super weapon wasn't your mech.
It was me.
Then, Simone, I'm taking you in brightest day, in blackest night.
Yes.
No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern fly!
Let's see you grit those teeth!
You'd make a good lantern.
Simone of Earth, you have been chosen.
Just who the hell do you think I am?
KO! For the guy.
Fucking fire! Oh my god. Oh my god. Disagree, but oh my god.
With the snazzy sunglasses!
When both combatants possess unlimited power, it's hard to judge them by our normal standards. Take speed. Simone can hit an infinite number of targets all at once, and Kyle can fly fast enough to surpass the normal concept of speed itself.
When you control space and time, things like strength and speed kind of become irrelevant.
Instead, let's analyze them through a lens more applicable to beings as absurd as Simone and Kyle. Their imagination, their willpower, and their ultimate potential.
First up, imagination. The boundless things they could conjure to use against the other. Both could think up just about anything the other could, like absorbing each other's attacks, fighting across time, anything.
Simone did have a few attacks that Kyle hasn't encountered.
Kyle struggled to erase aberration, who discovered the natural law of the universe after a long enough time. President the anti-spiral used complete control of the laws of the countless universe. He could erase a fundamental concepts, yet could not erase neither.
Like the probability-altering missiles, but it's likely Kyle could adapt considering his ring could protect against existence being erased across the multiverse.
And in general, Kyle's constructs were a lot more creative than Simone's arsenal, which was mostly drills. Though again, nothing Simone couldn't adapt to with, say, his energy absorption. Imagination is a draw.
That leaves the other main factor for both characters, the origin of their unbelievable might, their willpower.
And that's really gonna be the winning factor here, since it's the source of everything for both of them. Whoever's got the stronger willpower wins.
Both can manipulate reality on a multiverse.
Simone reality warping could evolve to counter hypothetical source wall imprisonment and Simone managed a multiversal labyrinth of these characters with similar abilities Spectre, Superman, and Marion have escaped. This was one past.
Universal scale with their willpower, but we can use dimensions to roughly calculate a difference. This might sound absurd for most characters, but it's necessary for beings as beyond the pale as Simone and Kyle.
The multiverse labyrinth that Simone absorbed contained 11 spatial dimensions. That's 1.3 dimensions less than the multiverse Kyle's power can threaten.
And remember, each numbered dimension infinitely surpasses the one below it.
Which meant Kyle's willpower was stronger at a base level.
Both series can potentially have larger scopes of their cosmology, but most interpreters would favor the DC multiverse being larger.
However, that doesn't necessarily mean Kyle gets the edge, because if there's one thing both of these guys are known for, it's that they can always get stronger.
So to determine the limits of their willpower, we first need to understand their full potential.
Simone's whole deal with Spiral Power is how he can constantly evolve to get stronger. So just because Simone starts off weaker doesn't mean he'll stay that way.
Absorbing the multiverse labyrinth required Simone to leapfrog several orders of infinity in an instant. Simone made himself that much stronger through sheer force of will.
More than enough to close the gap with Kyle, especially since Spiral Power also lets him regenerate his body down to an informational level. Kyle's never destroyed something that thoroughly before.
Without the ability to easily kill Simone, it was
the anti-spiral has a regeneration comparable to spiral users, but Simone overcame them and the same with Kyle's hearing, resurrection abilities.
Only a matter of time before Kyle's ring ran low on charge, especially since Simone could likely regenerate for at least a week straight, like Nia did. While Blue Lantern Light could boost Kyle's power, he's never jumped several orders of infinity in strength like Simone has.
And while Kyle could manipulate emotions,
Kyle could maintain a charge by fueling his ring with the energy of hope and life. However, even as a White Lantern, his ring has been overtaxed and nullified, such as against Dr.
To reduce Simone's willpower, Simone resisting the labyrinth's mental manipulation meant he could power through anything Kyle threw at him.
Everything, that is, except for the life equation. It originated from a higher level of reality and would have more than even the odds.
Too bad Kyle couldn't control it. It was just as much a detriment to him as an asset, forcing him to relinquish it to keep from destroying
Kyle kept the life equation in the what-if scenario New Guardians features in, and he is corrupted and ultimately destroyed himself. The Kent and Kyle saw the potential future, and so I the equation. The book also established those with high willpower are resistance to the life equation's effects, such as
reality and himself.
Compare that to Simone, who merged with a version of himself, writing a version of Gurren Lagann, and using Spiral Power to make that fiction into reality.
A pretty similar level of reality to the life equation, and a level of power Simone had no trouble embracing and mastering by the end.